news because the judges are fighting. So you already know, like, um, the judges, and that will be Mr. and Mrs. J, as well as Nigel Barker, has been going on this accountability, apology, whatever you want to call it, type tour where they've been stopping all these different places because clearly the Netflix doc wasn't enough. So now they've been popping up in different places, trying to rehabilitate their images and all this other stuff. And recently, they did give a preview of them on Sherry Shepherd's show, which that full episode has finally dropped today. I did watch it. It was definitely it was a good episode. The only thing that was irritating me, it just felt like in so many ways, Sherry was it felt like she was trying to defend Tyra in a lot of the stuff and from back then and all this other stuff. But um there was some shade that was thrown amongst the judges, particularly from Miss J, and Nigel even said some shady things, and rightfully so. But it seems like the only one that's being singled out in all of this is Mr. J, Manuel, and that's coming from big back ass Kelly Cutrone, because apparently that lady who had the nerve to sit up here and talk about his appearance and saying he got fillers, and I'm like, sis, you should be the last one out here in these streets talking about somebody looks and filler when sis, you could use his doctor. And if you're gonna sit up here and read people on appearances, Miss Ma'am. But you look a little mannish up in that face. Sidebar, there was somebody that had the unmitigated gall to come up in my comments because I called Caitlyn a big back. And they took it to a whole segment of like I was being transphobic. I'm like, anybody got a big back? I've even said the president of the United States got a big back. But she was in a picture at Mar-a-Lago with a bunch of clowns, and she took a picture, and that back was looking mighty big and linebackerish. I wasn't referring to her gender. Now, that's where you took it. Then that's on you. But don't put that on me. Now, me being transphobic would have been misgendering, but that's a whole other thing. And look, between that other girl, Caitlyn, she wastes no time throwing trans people under the bus thinking that she's exempt because she got money. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. We're gonna talk about this. So Entertainment Weekly is reporting this story. So, former America's Next Top Model judge and Bravo reality star. She was on Bravo. I don't remember that. Or maybe they've had so much crap on that damn channel. I don't remember. Kelly Cutrone has hit back at creative director Jay Manuel after the latter spoke out against Tyra Banks in the new Netflix docuseries Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model. Cutrone, a powerhouse fashion industry publicist who served on the permanent ANTM panel from cycles 18 to 22. That was, I think, around the time when Mr. J was pretty much being ousted from the show. Reacted to Manuel's criticism of Banks throughout Reality Check, in which he alleges that the supermodel host refused to speak to him on set after he expressed interest in leaving the series following cycle 8. So I do have her tweet, because hold on, let me pull that up so y'all can read it. Please hold. Okay, so it's there. And in case you can't read it, I'm gonna read it. She says, side note, Jay never even worked in the fashion industry. He worked at a MAC makeup counter in Toronto. I didn't even know he was Canadian. Tyra boosted him, and how did he repay her? Well, she said here, but girl, it's her. By writing a novel about her and the show, which no one bought. And now he's trying to become relevant by being out here trashing her again. Maybe he will get a deal as a spokesperson for spray tanning or filler. He was so incredibly rude to me my first day on the show. He came up to me and said, "Welcome to the show. You are in the ejector seat," meaning anyone who sat in that seat, Andre, etc., were I think she meant were fired. Oddly enough, he was does at the wait, what? Oddly enough, he was does at the end of that season. Girl, if you was gonna come up here and read somebody, at least proofread before you hit send. Which is, my pet peeve when people come up here and they write stuff and it don't, and I gotta sit and I'm thinking I'm going dyslexic when I be reading some of your comments or your posts. So I guess what she was saying was, yeah, he was rude at basically saying, girl, you're not gonna last long on this show. And you in the ejector seat. And she was like, and lo and behold, at the end of that season, which was 18, he did say that he was fired from the show during season 18. And he wasn't the only one that got rid of Nigel and Miss J as well. And Tyra said it was the higher ups that made the decision. But I'm like, but sis, you could have still fought for them to be a part of the show. So yeah, so Kelly done came up in here and started her mess. But here's the thing: Mr. J wasn't the only one that spoke out. And so what? He's not allowed to tell his side of the story, or if you're going to be interviewed about the time that went on the show. And they even mentioned in the Sherry Shepherd interview that what their roles were. That yeah, they weren't in every meeting that was on the show. Their name wasn't on the marquee. I mean, technically Tyra's wasn't either, but she was the host. So everybody held her to a higher standard because she was the supermodel. She came from that world. She created the show. She made everybody know it that she created the show. So that's what people are going to be thinking. And um Miss J was like, I want y'all to know that yeah, I wasn't in on those meetings. I was just there to help the girls walk and all that other stuff. I wasn't in on the production meetings and that sort of thing. And Nigel said that he wasn't much on the production meetings too. That wasn't his situation. He was in there to do the photo shoots. And they kept them separate from the models on purpose because they didn't want them to be biased when it came time to judge. So people had to understand a lot of what was going on. So I don't understand, like, all of a sudden why Kelly is coming out trying to be a staunch supporter of Tyra. Is it because Tyra mentioned at the end that she is trying to bring back Top Model for Cycle 25 and you trying to pitch yourself for a gig by showing that you're loyal to the cause? I know some people be like, well, she don't need it. I mean, I don't know what she does if she's still part of the fashion world, if she still works behind the scenes as a publicist or whatever the case is. I don't know how she's making her coins. But at the end of the day, people also need to realize it's not always about the money. It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need the money, money. Okay, let me stop thinking of I'm Jesse J. But she don't need the money. It's not it was always about money when it comes to this stuff. Sometimes the clout, the power, being on TV, that is a big enough drug, a bigger drug than how much money you make in your account. So people need to kind of look at it that way. It's like that currency of fame and being on TV and introducing yourself to a new generation of viewers, that's bigger. That's a much better currency than the amount of money you're getting in your wallet. The money will come down the road, but the fame is something that they like. Now, in a 2025 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Cycle 9 contestant Ambrio Williams, who alleged that Manuel was dismissive towards her after the cycle aired, fellow Cycle 9 star Sarah Hartshorn additionally alleged in her 2025 book about the show that Mr. J didn't get along with anybody on Cycle 9, which aired in late 2007. Probably because he didn't want to be there, so he was being a bitch. I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. J was out there being shady. We know how the gays are, especially the pretty ones, where they act like they shit don't stink. And yeah, we could definitely see that he got the Karamo makeover. Them cheeks are pumped. The cheeks are cheeking. Because when you look at Karamo too, it's like, oh, you know that face don't move. I'm sorry, Karamo, you had to get that straight. But sis, we've been talking about your, all that extra cheekage that you got up in there. Lay off the fillers. I don't understand how you men of a certain age y'all be doing this to yourselves. Y'all look fine. You don't need to look over plasticized. And I said if I needed it, I get a couple of injections in the face, but I need my face to move. You see, I'm moving my forehead because I like my face to move for now. But yeah, they would say he didn't get along. And also remember Kenya, because it's funny how he was up on Sherry Shepherd show, and I caught him at that, talking about that, oh, what Kenya had to deal with and all that other stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, sir. You were a part of that, you were in charge of that photo shoot. And Kenya was like, she wanted to stop because that model, I forget his name, was making her uncomfortable. I don't know if he had, the Zulu dick wasn't covered underneath the loincloth, because they was in Africa, right, when they shot that. And he making her uncomfortable. He touching her inappropriately, grinding his meat up on her leg or rubbing his peen up against her body and stuff. And he's forcing and making unwanted advantages towards her. And what did Mr. J do? Like how dare you pull the Tyra? How, like I said in the last segment, because how dare you sue me? He was like, how dare you stop my production because you feeling uncomfortable with this what this guy was doing. But now that accountability has come home to roost, now all of a sudden y'all want to play like y'all weren't also equal participants in the bullshit. So just admit y'all wrong doing whatever. And if there's ANTM contestants that talk about their experiences about Jay Manuel being shady, They have every right to call it out. So they said, I walked to the set, and the photographer, Mike Rosenthal, was sitting with his camera looking disinterested. He barely looked at me as I approached. Mr. J had been showing someone his new iPhone and all the features as I walked up. Hartshorn wrote in her book. He rolled his eyes as he put it in his pocket and took a deep, ragged sigh as though he were steeling himself to be on camera again. Representatives for Reality Check and Manuel did not immediately respond to EW's request for comment. Now, Cutrone's ANTM run began at the end of Manuel's, as the latter detailed in Reality Check his firing after Cycle 18, alongside ANTM staples like photographer Judge Nigel Barker and runway coach Miss J. Alexander. On the series, Manuel suggests that after drafting a press release announcing the trio's amicable departure from the program amid what Banks said was a network request to revive the show with a talent shakeup, he was blindsided when a news leak about their firing made headlines before the release could go out. Manuel also alleged that Banks treated him coldly have they expressed interest in leaving the show as far back as Cycle 8. Saying, on camera, we learned to play and laugh, but it was just clear I was not allowed to speak to her outside of that, which after the first day I thought, there's absolutely no way I'm going to survive this cycle. Megan remembered his dynamic with Banks after what he said. He emailed her about the exit, and when, he wanted to leave at the end of Cycle 8, and they said I guess they brought him back because they couldn't find somebody to replace him. Which I'm like, it's hard to find somebody who can just give girls a like read a teleprompter or just memorize the lines and give people their challenges. Now, Miss J additionally revealed at the end of the series, okay, they had a stroke, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. So, um, oh yeah, so they also threw some shade at Miss Cutrone. They said, in addition to Manuel's words of reality check, various other contestants are featured in the doc speaking about their experiences. Cutrone also came under fire in an EW interview with Cycle 18 contestant Louise Watts, who famously sparred with the fashion publicist during a judging session that led to Watts quitting the competition mid-deliberation. Watts took issue with the way Cutrone spoke to her during an earlier challenge, with the judges also chastising Watts for her attitude about the situation in the judging room. Because it's like, you're not going to talk to me any old goddamn way. And that's another thing, too. Shout out to the girls who wasn't going to put up with the bullshit, like Takara and so many others, where it's like, you're not going to disrespect me, and I'm not going to sit here and take it. Show be damned. And Takara went on to have success outside of Top Model, even after she was eliminated. But it's like, I'm not going to sit up and let you disrespect me because y'all want a moment on a TV show and you want ratings. Because, like I said, at the time, every judge on TV wanted to be Simon Cowell. So they was all trying to create their own version of that on all these different reality shows. So they went and said, I tell everybody that works for me not to run on sets. It's a standard thing in the industry. There was no need to run, and I don't think it's unprofessional or picking on anyone. This is what she told EW at the time. Louise has zero regard of hierarchy and zero understanding of how the industry works in the real world. She thought she'd embarrass me on panel, and I thought, I've had enough. You're trying to make me a person I don't want to be. I can't do all this fake shit. Watts told EW at the moment, claiming that the edit made it seem like the argument unfolded over one take, but that it was cobbled together from a lengthier spat. I was gonna confront her and go, why? I mean, who do you think you're talking to? But I held that in. And they said a rep for Banks declined to comment because she worried about that, that ice cream and that lawsuit. That's why she can't talk. Now, Banks has spoken about ANTM controversies in the past, strongly pushing against allegations of putting models in blackface and switching races and all the mess. So, Chad, at this point, I already said it. Like they even asked her they even asked some of the old judges would they come back if they bring back the show. And just you know what, Top Model was what it was during its heyday. It was a time when it was what it was. I don't think everything though don't need to be brought back. Sometimes shows just need to stay dead. So Top Model ended with Cycle 24. Let us say where's that? Let us have it as a nostalgia moment, a distant memory. If we want to go back and watch some of the episodes and we go through those cringe moments when we watching it, then so be it. But I feel like at this point, Don't bring the show back. It's causing way too much drama. It's causing too much emotional distress. And now we got judges fighting amongst each other and Tyra acting like just like don't look over there. There's nothing going on. What you see isn't always the truth. So I'm doing drag race references on top model, but but I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Because it's like, damn, Kelly Cutrone, I was like, you windmilling kind of hard for Tyra. Maybe you trying to vie for a spot if they decide to bring the show back. But they can find a way to make the show interesting. Okay, maybe I'll give it a gander. But I honestly think that y'all just need to, that top model needs to just stay dead. Let these people have a moment. If they want to get on and start doing interviews, whatever the case is, have at it. Because I'll be here using it as grist for my mill and talking about it as a topic on this show. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.